Howdy guys, welcome back to our full portrait retouch in Affinity Photo for this image. This should be the final video for this image here, and what we're going to do is we are going to fix some of the makeup like the lipstick and eyeshadow, also fill in some more eyebrows and maybe do some eyelashes, and then we're going to do some contouring using the dodge and burn, and then if we have some time maybe we'll do a little bit of color toning. So if you want to see how I do it, stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. So what we did last time is we did the hair in our part 3 video. This is the before and this is the after, and if you haven't watched that you can go back and watch part 3 and see how I adjusted the hair. And in part 2, using dodge and burn, we made adjustments to our skin. And that's the before, and that's the after. And if we want to look at everything we've done up to this point, this is the original image brought straight into Affinity Photo. And then this is what it looks like after we've done all our edits. Now it looks significantly better than it did at the beginning, but we still have a few little things that we want to fix to really make the image just be totally perfect. All right, and so what we're going to do is we are going to start looking at just fixing the lipstick a little bit here. Filling in some of the eyebrows a bit more, give them a bit fuller, thicker look. Maybe we'll come in and do some eyelashes, and then some final contouring and maybe some color toning. So let's just go ahead and get right into that. All right, so the first thing I want to do, because this is going to be the easiest, is I just want to fix some of the makeup here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new layer. And let's just zoom in here a little bit. And I think the easiest thing for me to do is using a clone stamp brush. Make sure we are at current layer and below. We're going to keep the hardness 0. And actually, you know what? Let's do the hardness at 100% for now. We'll bring our flow down pretty low. We'll say 4%. And then I want to just fill in this bit here where it's a bit lighter. Maybe this bit right here. And maybe a little bit here. And there's a little bit of patchiness that we do want to maybe fill in a bit. So for example, I'm just going to sample from right here and just paint over a little bit. And look, we really didn't do much. You might not be able to see it, but you can see we just kind of filled in that light spot, and I can maybe fill it in a little more. So I'm going to just do that same thing here just to kind of fill in these light patches, these kind of inconsistencies in the makeup or the lipstick. It's really not that noticeable, but it's just something that I kind of want to do. And then we can get to these main parts down here where you can see it's a lot lighter down here. Maybe the lipstick wasn't applied as evenly as it should have been. So maybe we're gonna pick something from around here. I'm gonna try to sample from this area because we're kind of going across here. Let's just kind of see. And the good thing about low flow is that you can just kind of do it a little bit so you're not kind of overwhelming it all in once. Let's see what we've done so far. See, really subtle, but just that little bit can make a nice difference. And I'm just kind of picking from different little areas. Maybe that was the wrong area to sample from, and I'm just trying to like figure out where would look pretty good. You might get some repeating patterns by doing this, but I think for the most part it's not going to be too noticeable. It's a bit too dark there. Things like this do take a little bit of trial and error. You may have to sample from a few different areas to kind of figure out where you think looks the best and most natural. So same thing, I'm going to just kind of do here just to kind of maybe just help define this line in the lip here a little bit, so you can see that's what we've done. If we zoom out a bit, and I can see I actually do want it to go a little bit further down. So let me try to do that. We're going to come and just paint along this edge here. And then if I want to kind of fade it in a bit, maybe I'll drop the hardness down to 0%, just so the line is not so sharp. Make the brush a little bit bigger, and that way we might get a little bit more of a natural kind of fade into it. All right. I think that looks pretty good. I think that looks significantly better. Kind of helped make the line look a bit sharper. But I think it still looks pretty natural, so I think it looks pretty good. Let's do this part here. Same thing here. I'm going to just sample from this kind of darker area and just paint, fill in this part. So I know in this image, when we took this photo, she was doing her own makeup. She did a good job. But, you know, I think on a bigger production type shoot, you would probably have a dedicated hair and makeup artist, and you could really make sure that the makeup was really spotless before you started shooting, just because it's going to save you time in the editing process, because you're not having to, you know, fix makeup. But, you know, when you're starting out and you're just shooting with your friends, or they're doing their own makeup or whatever, yeah, you're not always going to have the luxury of getting the makeup perfect. And when you're shooting, a lot of times you don't even notice this stuff because you're so focused on, you know, the lighting, the exposure, shadows, your camera settings, that you don't notice until you start editing the images, that you start finding little things that you wish you had corrected on set. So I do recommend kind of going slow when you have the time to, and take your time. Now this looks like maybe just some of the reflection from her skin reflecting onto the lip, but because it looks a bit faded, I'm going to try to just paint in this color a little bit just to get it looking more red. And we're going to sample from somewhere up here. I think that'll help make it look a little more better. Sometimes you'll find things that naturally that's the way it looks, but in a photo it might look a bit unnatural, so you sometimes have to do things that wouldn't really be there in real life, but it makes the photo look actually more real. And maybe same here, just like darken some of this like that. All right, this looks okay. I think I don't want to go too crazy with it. Let's just, maybe I can try to feather the edges a bit here. All right, let's zoom out a little bit. And this is the before, and that's the after. And if we look at, yeah, I think just that little bit kind of really helps sell it a little better. And you know, this looks like I could even come down with this lip a little further. So you can kind of go as far as you like. Maybe I'll just drop it down a little. It looks like her lip actually comes down to about here. And with a low flow and a low hardness, it's kind of a little more feathered. And I think in this, maybe here needs to be a little more lips like that. There we go. And maybe that looks a little actually too, okay, there. Now you can actually see it's quite a drastic difference what we've done. You know, maybe this part could be blended in a bit better. Some of this texture, let me try to like maybe put some of this texture over here just to give a little bit of more texture on the lip. But I think that looks okay, I guess. Maybe this little white patch here, I'm going to try to just fix it, blend it in a bit better. Yeah, we're not going to spend too much time, but I think you get the idea. You get the idea. This is one technique on how to do some lips. We might actually go in and add some other color later, and I can see the color here is a bit too dark, is a bit inconsistent, so I'm actually going to come in here and maybe we're going to lighten that color a little bit just to have it blend in a bit better. Same here, like it's a bit dark, so let's just see if I can lighten that. And I guess maybe I could try to do it right now. Maybe sample from somewhere around here. That's a bit too much. Let's really lower our flow to like 1%, and if I can just come in and just kind of make this color a little less dark. I'm just trying to doing it this way as opposed to like getting a new layer and, you know, doing like a dodge layer, which I can come in here and dodge the color so it's not so dark. But I'm gonna see if I can do it all just in this one layer, just to save a little bit of time. Okay, we'll do that. Maybe I'll come in later and I'll just brighten up. You know what? Let's just do it right now. All this later talk, let's just do it right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a curves adjustment layer. Gonna brighten it up a little bit, like so. We are gonna invert that layer. I'm gonna select a paintbrush, a white paintbrush with hardness 0, and we'll do a low flow of like 2%. And I'm just gonna go over this kind of dark spot here. That's even too much. Let's actually drop it down to 1% flow. And then just a few strokes should come and lighten it up a little bit. Like that. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better. Yeah, that looks better. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta, you know, just make another layer and just fix one little correction. Maybe here's a little dark. I can kind of lighten that part up. And same thing. These light patches, if I wanted to, like there's still a few light patches down here. I try to get rid of a few of them during that last this step when we were doing this. But of course you can come in here, create a curves adjustment layer. Let's do a dark one, invert that, and just actually come in here and darken up some of these light patches. If we want to darken up a little bit here, we can just do that. Just kind of darken these patches up. So maybe they kind of, that's a little too much. You gotta be careful. Sometimes 2 or 3 strokes is too many. Just gotta, 1 stroke is just enough to get it how you want it to look. But let's say lips are done. Okay, I'm happy with the lips. They look good from here. Perfect. Let's move on. Let's go ahead and just put those together. Let's group them together. Let me see if this is gonna work how I think. Yeah. So we just grouped these all together so we can look at them all, and we'll just call that lips. All right, cool. Lips are done. Let's move on to the eyebrows. Eyebrows are fine, but I noticed like you'll notice here that, you know, the penciling in that she did extends past where her actual eyelashes are. Especially we can see it here where it's a bit darker. I probably could come in and use some clone stamping to kind of just copy this texture here so that darkness isn't there. And actually, you know what, now that I said, I think I am going to do that really quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and with a clone stamp tool, sample from an area about right here. We're going to do a low flow at 100% hardness, and we're just going to do that. Just copy some of that color just so it's not dark there. Yeah, we'll do something like maybe even here, come in and just see if we can lighten that up a little bit. Okay, all right, cool. So we're gonna pick a brush. We're gonna grab, we're gonna hold down Option to sample. We're gonna grab one of these dark colors for now. Looks a bit light, so I'm actually gonna come up here to the color wheel and just drag it a bit darker, almost to black. And you can paint, that's my color. Let's get small, maybe something around 2.1. Maybe, okay, that looks, 2.5 is a bit too big. Something like that size, that's okay. All right, cool. And what we're gonna do then is just paint in a few more lashes. Maybe I got a little bit too doubling up there. Just paint in a few more lashes. And mostly I want to do it here, and I'm kind of doing a little bit of crossing, so I'm kind of painting my things a bit like this, like the way, you know, eyelashes don't all go in exactly in one direction. So by kind of mixing it up, you can make it look a bit more natural. And I'm just going to kind of maybe lower my flow a little bit just so I can get to a little further out, just so it looks, and maybe we can lower our flow some more just so it's a bit more faded. And you can always sample a different color every once in a while, just to kind of mix it up. You can sample something a bit lighter, this lighter brown. This is just going to fill in so it looks a bit, a little more full. Okay. Now they're still a little bit defined, but we're gonna go in later and kind of Gaussian blur them so it's gonna look a bit better. Yep, and let's do the other side here. So same thing, just gonna grab a few, just add a little bit of definition, a little more definition to the eyebrows. Let's go a little darker maybe. Oops. I think when you get a darker color, you're gonna have to probably drop your flow a little bit just so it doesn't look so abrupt here. Something like that. Add a few more here. And to be honest, like this is already looking okay. Like at this distance, this is fine. You see like that, just filled in the eyebrows a bit more. If we did want to come in, we can actually fade it a bit. If I think it's too marked or it's too dark, maybe just drop it, the opacity down a little bit, like that looks really good. Yeah, that looks cool. And boom, just a little quick eyebrow fix to kind of help the eyebrows look a bit more defined. Alrighty, so now let's go ahead and go into our contouring. This is the more creative part, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and create two curve layers. We're gonna do a curve dodge layer or something like that. Let's invert that. And then we will do the same thing, but this will be our burn. And we'll bring that down. And we'll say that, we'll invert that, and we can label them. We can just call this our dodge and burn. We can group these together. This can be our contouring. All right. And so I think we know the process here, right? We're gonna grab a white paintbrush, pure white color. And we can make the other one black, so we can hit X to cycle back and forth between them really easily. We are going to do a low flow of like 2%, 1%, 2%. It's a preference thing, 0% hardness. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring out some of these features by using contouring. So we're gonna basically, with our brush, starting with our dodge layer, we're going to kind of brighten up some of the things that are already a bit bright to add some more depth to the image. So for example, one prime example is people often do it on the nose. So for example here, if I come across the nose, I'm going to do a bit extreme so you can see like I just brightened up that nose, and just that really makes the nose kind of pop out a bit more. So I'm going to do a few extreme examples so we can really get an idea what's going on. So like maybe here on the cheekbone, we can come here on the lips and do a bit. Maybe on the forehead, we can just brighten up the forehead a little bit. Of course, you can do the eyes just a tad, maybe just a little bit. Maybe this little catchlight in the eyes, you can brighten that up. Maybe this side of the cheek, we want to get a bit brighter. And maybe the chin, maybe a bit just this here. It's a bit too dark for my liking. And then maybe the collarbone. Now again, I'm still doing very extreme just so we can kind of see what's happening, and I can show you where I'm doing it. Like so, and now you can see like that adds a ton of depth, but this is way too much, so we are not going to do it that much. I go ahead and erase all this. All right, and we are going to try this again. Now we're going to do a bit more proper. So we've got our 0% hardness, 100% opacity, flow is set to 2%. And we're just going to come in here and just do a little bit, like just a little bit there. I like to do a little bit on the forehead, brighten up the forehead, brighten up the whole face in general. This part of her forehead's a little dark. We can actually come in here and brighten that up. Let's just go over the eyes a little bit. Maybe these catch lights, we can come in here and just like brighten up the catch lights in the eye in general. Her eye is really, really dark brown, so you don't want to brighten them up and make them look really brown because that would look unnatural. So you can see it's really subtle what we've done. We've just done a little bit. Maybe let's add a bit more on the bridge of the nose. This cheekbone has already got a pretty nice highlight, so I don't need to do too much. Maybe this dark, brighten up this side of the cheek. Maybe kind of brighten up some of this reddish dark area here. Maybe just brighten up the makeup around here. A little bit of highlights on the lips, like so. maybe right here, the collarbone, maybe the shoulder. Kind of falls off in the darkness, but I want it to be a bit brighter. Just here on the neck, some of this can be really accentuated on the chin. Maybe down here is a bit dark. We can kind of brighten that up a bit. And so you can see, like, it's just really subtle, but we've done that. And then we can move to our burn. And one thing I like to do with burn is I like to first go across the edge of the face, because just by burning the edge of the face, it kind of makes the face look a bit smaller, and it draws more attention to the center of the face. So let's see, let's just get a bit kind of dark here in the edges here, and especially down here in the chin is going to really bring out the chin area. Then I like to go over the eyebrows and make them a bit darker, right here on the nose, even down a bit here. And then I like to also just go, even though she's not really wearing much eyeliner, or she's a little bit, I like to kind of go over the eyeliner bit and make it a bit darker. This is going to help make the eyes just pop out a bit more. And even the eyeshadows here, we can darken up the eyeshadow a little bit. And same thing on this side, we'll just get this kind of eyeliner area a bit darker. Okay, and then let's see. You can see we've done that. And if we look at everything, this is before and this is after. It just adds a little bit of punch to her face. Just brightens up a little bit, gives her face a little bit more like three-dimensionality. And because we are working with layers, you know, we can, if I feel I went a bit too far with that, I can drop the opacity down on, say, the burn layer a little bit. I can come back and dodge and say, you know, I didn't do as much as I would liked. Let me just make the nose a bit brighter, maybe some of this cheek area a bit brighter, this dark spot around here. Let's bump up the chin. Yeah, I mean, you can come in here and work on it. And now we can also do the hair. We can add some dodging on the hair, these little highlights, just to kind of like make the hair look a little shinier, I guess, by making it a bit brighter. It's going to give that hair that more like shiny shampoo commercial type look. And you can see that. And this is our dodge. And yeah, this is really subtle and it's not overly crazy. I think this looks really natural, which is always the look I'm going for. I'm always trying to make things look really natural. I'm not a big fan of when people just kind of look almost too perfect. They look kind of fake, or like mannequins, or like every feature is like so defined. Like, I like having this skin texture and this skin detail and having it look, you know, how she looks in real life. I think if you met her and you saw this, you would be, oh, this is what she looks like. You wouldn't think, oh wow, you've been so edited, like I don't even recognize you. So if we turn everything off, this is our before and this is our after. And I think, let's see, if we want to, we can maybe just, I'll show you how I do the lashes. The eyelashes are pretty much just like you're doing the eyebrows. I'm going to make a new layer. We'll grab a paintbrush. We'll sample one of these darker colors, pretty much black, I think. And using a small paintbrush with a, we'll say, kind of a higher hardness. Something small like that. Yeah, and it's just literally, you know, just drawing in a few extra strands. And you can do it as much as you like. You can draw on as many strands as you want. Just, I guess the most important thing is try to keep them going all in the same direction. Try to make them look, you know, natural. Like these here, they're kind of coming out, like waving out. You know, they kind of come over this side. Maybe drop the size a bit. And you can do the same thing over here. Oops, so it's a bit too thick. Yeah, pretty easy stuff. And if I want, I can sample a different color to try to maybe match this kind of like gray, I guess it's the light reflection there so it looks a bit, and then, you know, mix it up back and forth, get a few different colors. And then same thing here. These look, they're kind of almost like a dark gray color. So I can kind of try to match that. And yeah, a little bit, just a little bit. Baby steps. All right. All right, and then you can see what we've done. Added a few more eyelashes. Just makes the eyelashes a little more fuller looking. I feel like it looks kind of weird because I know that they are not there, but I think the eyelashes are kind of like just already a bit dispersed before, so I think that just adds a little. It makes them a little more fuller, a little more eyelash action going on there. And let's see, I think that's gonna be it. Color toning for this kind of image, like there's a million things you could do, but one thing I did really simple is I'm gonna go ahead and create a new fill layer. And I don't know, I'm gonna pick a color that I kind of like. We'll say for this one I kind of want to do like an orangish type color. We'll do something like that. And then I'll just set the blend mode to soft light, and I'll just drop the opacity down quite a bit, and maybe just keep the opacity at like, I'll say 15 or 19. Maybe it's too much. I mean, yeah, you could do this, you could do so many things. And because we're using this fill layer, we can come back here and adjust the color. Maybe we want a bit more bluish. Maybe we want to kind of do something green, you know, very matrixy. You can do that. And also player, you can do it with hard light. You can try vivid light. Even overlay looks really good if we actually should get like maybe the orange area. I think the orange kind of looks good. It kind of makes the skin look really nice. And just play around with the opacity. I actually do like the way it looks already, but I just want to warm it up a little bit. So I'm just going to add this overlay fill layer with an orange color, and we can mess with the brightness and darkness here. It's all about playing around. Like, you're going to decide what you like and what looks good. And what looks good to you may not look good to someone else, but who cares, right? You do what you like. And, you know, people who like your work will like your work for what you do, and not trying to, you know, fit someone else's idea of what looks good. So I like, let's see, I like that. Really, it's super subtle. Like, I think it's just really, maybe a little more. It's really subtle, you know, but just adds a little bit of color there. So that is that. Let's just call this done, shall we? Let's go ahead and look at a complete before and after. I'm going to turn off the that color toning layer for now. So this is our before we've done anything, and we can go through really quick step by step. And if, like I said, if you haven't watched these videos, you can go watch it. So the first part we did was just some basic cleanup, where I'm just getting rid of some of these you know, blemishes in the skin. Just little things like that. We also did some liquefaction here and just brought the cheek in a little bit to make it look a little smaller. So that was that. And then after that, we used our dodge and burn to really get the skin looking really even. That was our next thing we did. Okay, and then next we did the hair, and we did our flyaways. We got rid of the flyaways just by basically erasing them into the background. And then that looked a bit unnatural, so we added some of our own strands. You can see here we added some of our own hair strands just to kind of make it look a little more natural. And we painted those in manually, like that. And then we fixed the shoulder by doing lots of clone stamping. We fixed that shoulder. And then we also darkened the hair a bit to kind of make it match, look a little nicer. We darkened that. Then I removed some of the hair that was hanging off the shoulder, and then I had to fix some of that to make it look like it was being, you know, shadowed in. So you can see that I kind of added a shadow there, so it looks a bit more natural. And then now we started working on the baby hairs at the top. So the first thing we did was just kind of clone stamp the skin to kind of get the skin texture that high. Then using Dodge and Burn, we darkened it. Then using the technique where we just replaced the texture, you can see it's really subtle, but I just kind of did a texture replacement. I basically took the texture from here and put the texture up there. And all this is explained in part 3, so if you want to know how I did that, you can watch that video. And then what did we do? Then we started drawing in these hairs. We extended the hairline forward to draw in these hairs and stuff here. And then we just did some dodging to kind of blend it in to make it look a bit more natural. And then we fixed the lips, which I realized I spelled lips wrong. I spelled lipos. Okay. Lips, we fixed the lips, the lipstick. And then we fixed the eyebrows a bit. And we did some contouring on the face. And we added a few eyelashes. And we did some color toning. And bam! We are done. So I know this video went through a lot of... well, I think 4 videos to go over all this, but I thought it would be interesting for people to see like a complete from total beginning to end of this type of retouch, as opposed to just showing you one particular technique. In the future, I think I'm going to do a few videos talking about the differences between frequency separation and Dodge and Burn. And I think the next one I got was going to be a bit different. We're going to do a fitness photo with a really muscular guy. And I'm going to show you how I edit photos to really bring out the muscles and make that look really cool. So be on the lookout for that one coming up soon. But if you've watched all 4 of these videos, man, I applaud you guys. I know it's probably a total of like 2 hours worth of videos, but I really appreciate you guys watching and sticking with me. If you have any questions, advice, comments, please feel free to leave a comment, drop a message, and I really do appreciate the people who are watching these videos, and I hope you learned something. And thank you very much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.